heavily armed opposition fighters on the outskirts of Damascus. We can't independently verify this footage, but they're said to be members of the Nusra Front, which is linked to al-Qaeda. Many have been killed in recent clashes with the Syrian army. It all seems a long way from this family home in Musharfa in northern Israel. But last month, Muayyed Ighbariya found out that his son had been shot to death outside the Syrian capital. He tells me he didn't know he'd joined the Nusra Front.
We were not surprised, because we knew that since he was a teenager, Muayyed was religious, and he always wanted to leave, to join a resistance movement, to fight in the name of God and become a martyr.
Muayyed Ighbariya is the first known Israeli citizen to become a casualty of Syria's conflict. But he's not the only member of this country's Arab minority to have left to fight what's seen as a jihad or holy war. It's thought there are some 20 others who've joined the rebels. 2 other local men are missing, and that surprised many in this community.
People in this area are mostly observant Muslims. There's a lot of support here too for the conservative Islamic movement in Israel. But the leaders of the group don't support the decision by young men to go and fight in Syria. They say the priority should be the struggle for Palestinian independence at home.
Across the Middle East and around the world, hundreds of Muslims have bought into al-Qaeda's radical Islamic ideology and travelled to Syria.
And this reminds me what happened with the group in London in 2005 and the group in Madrid and Atocha in 2004. These young kids were hooked up to the internet, and you're in. So this is a global phenomenon, so I'm not surprised that a few Arab Israelis are also linked up.
From Israel's ceasefire line with Syria in the occupied Golan Heights, you get a close-up view of the conflict next door. The two countries themselves remain technically at war, but until recently this region had been quiet for decades. Now Israeli security services are worried that Syria's troubles will cross the border. Arab Israelis returning home, radicalised and battle-hardened, creating a new threat from within. Yolande Nell, BBC News in northern Israel.